Bedford, Virginia, to Tucson, Arizona, Minneapolis to LA, this is your favorite home improvement radio hour, the Home Show on KCMO. Everybody has a place, big or small, they call home. And every home needs maintenance, repair, and remodeling. Join our host, Tom Bamfort, as he guides you through the maze of products, services, and people you need to make your home as cozy as can be. It's the Home Show, KCMO Talk Radio 710 at 103.7 FM.
What could be better? It's cold as the hinges of Hades out there, and I'm inside. I hope you're inside. And we're going to talk about how to make your home a cozier, more comfortable place to be. And this week we're going to do it with my favorite veterinarians, Dr. Andrea Farrell and Dr. Tabitha Regier from Perimeter Veterinary Center. Last week on the show, of course, we talked about great gifts and safe toys. So my thanks to John Drengenberg from Underwriter Laboratories. If you missed that show, a lot of great information on that for you. You can go to KCMOTalkRadio.com, KCMOTalkRadio.com, and you can listen to the podcast. Doctors Farrell and Regier, welcome to the Home Show.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
To be back.
And this is your first time here, Dr. Regier, is it not?
It is.
Well, we're going to treat you with great respect, and we hope our callers will as well. That's right. You can call in with your veterinary questions, your dog or cat question for the veterinarians. Give us a buzz, 576-7710, 576-7710, or shoot me an email, homeshow@kcmotalkradio.com, homeshow@kcmotalkradio.com. We just finished the APW Help for Home show, and I want to remind you they've got a great water heater deal going. When it gets cold like this, it seems a lot of water heaters finally give up the ghost, and they have a 40-gallon water heater installed for $599. Give them a call, 913-825-6600, 825-6600. It is, of course, exceptionally cold outside, and I know, 4 degrees this morning when I took my little Rosie out on her morning perambulation. The sun, of course, is nowhere near being up, and I guess I'm worried about that. Dr. Regier, are there a series of things I need to do to protect my pet in this exceptionally cold weather?
There are, Tom. We've hit the mark where the temperature's just too cold for your pets to be outside, hanging out in the yard, especially if they're indoor, mostly pets, for any amount of time. We didn't have any transition to this cooler weather, so our pets haven't had time to kind of adjust to it. So when your pets are going out right now for the day, they need to be out to potty and pretty much back indoors. Now, if you've got an active pet and you're a dog walker, go ahead and throw on a coat, throw on a jacket, throw on a sweater for their walk so that we can preserve some of that body heat if you're still going out on these 0 to 20 degree days. The above 20 degree mark, we're pretty comfortable with your pet going outside for a few minutes, a little bit of playtime, maybe doesn't need to be dressed unless they're a really small dog or a dog that doesn't have much a protective hair coat. We're at low enough temperatures right now that outdoor pets need shelter. They need a place to get in, out of the weather. They need water that is not freezing, and they may even need extra calories if they're outside. Dogs that are outdoors and they don't have shelter, they need to come in the garage, or they need to be in a warm, safer space on these 0 degree overnights.
I would think in particular, short-coated dogs and cats, and we'll get to cats in a second, but short-coated dogs in particular, if you take them out, they should definitely have some kind of a coat.
It's a great idea. If they're just going out for their quick morning trip to the yard and back in, that's okay. But if they're going to spend any amount of time outside, we'd like to get them covered up. You know, we think about the greyhounds, the Italian greyhounds, those dogs or maybe the hairless dogs, or like Dr. Farrell's small dog Jiggy. She gets really cold in the morning, so she gets a coat on to go outside. My big dog Idabelle, I have a dog that's never had a cold winter before. We got her this summer from the south, and she is shell-shocked this winter when she goes outside.
She turns her nose up.
She's a big girl, but she comes in shivering, so we dress her to send her out in the morning.
And, of course, knowing two successful veterinarians, I am sure they wear nothing but designer outfits today. I'm talking to veterinarians Dr. Tabitha Regier and Dr. Andrea Farrell from Perimeter Veterinary Center. You can pose your pet question, your dog or cat question, to them, and they will be happy to answer it. I got this email from Linda down in Overland Park. Dr. Farrell, she says, can dogs get colds?
Well, sort of, yes. They don't necessarily get the same type of viruses and things that we do, but they get bacterial and viral infections that will mimic the same symptoms that we get as humans when we get cold. So it's not something you'll pass back and forth from your pet to yourself or vice versa. But they can have illnesses that cause sneezing and congestion and nasal congestion and snotty noses and goopy eyes and things like that.
Yuck.
Absolutely.
All of those little children type things that
That's right.
that we
That's
recognize. Right. So what particular infections or diseases do I need to look for at this time of year, Dr. Regier?
Well, we're not really looking for specific diseases this time of year. What we don't want to forget is that it's never not flea season. Fleas don't care that it is cold outside. They are content to perpetuate their little flea life cycle inside your home. And there's even a species of tick that prefers to be overwintering in garages and houses. So we really need to worry about parasite prevention just as much this time of year as we do in the fall, in the spring, and the summer. And many people forget that. They think it's cold and they have the belief that there's the die-off of the bugs, but there really isn't. And that's what we worry about most in the wintertime. We don't see an increase in other infectious bacterial or viral diseases, but it's the parasites that we end up seeing in the winter that people think aren't going to plague them or plague their pets.
How about heartworm? Do I need to keep giving my heartworm medication, Dr. Farrell?
Absolutely. Heartworms don't care what time of year it is either. Heartworms are transmitted by mosquitoes, and every winter I kill mosquitoes in my house because they're looking for somewhere to go, and you open the door to go in and out. You open the door to let your dog or cat out, and they come right into the house. And so we do see heartworm disease all year round, and we see it in indoor pets. And so you absolutely need to continue all of your preventatives. When you live in Kansas, you need to prevent fleas, ticks, and heartworms all year round.
And so what do you recommend for fleas? A topical application, or is there something that they can take internally, which is systemic?
Well, there are so many fantastic products for parasites. What we recommend is that you use a product that your veterinarian sells. Those products are going to be safer. They're going to be the most effective products on the market. We carry a product that is systemic or oral that your pet can take once a month. And we also carry a topical product so that we can kind of meet the preferences of our clients. We just want everyone using a veterinary recommended product because it's not worth the risk of the diseases that ticks carry. Rocky Mountain fever, Lyme disease, ehrlichiosis, and anaplasmosis. We've had record numbers of cases of diseases spread by ticks this year in dogs. Help me remember, Dr. Farrell, up to 16 patients?
We were, actually, I think we just diagnosed our 17th, which is more than either one of us, I think, has seen in most of the rest of our practice put together. So it's been an amazing tick year.
Mm-hmm. Well, ticks are, is it an increasing problem, or are we just increasingly aware of the problem?
I suspect both. We are moving further and further outside of our more urban areas. And so as you get to more suburban and rural areas, you're certainly going to see more. And I do think that we talk a lot more about those types of things with our pets now. I think more and more they become family members. And so we're looking at preventative and wellness care and focusing on those things. So I think we do talk about disease a lot about those things. And for example, now our heartworm test, we used to always run heartworm tests every year. And now our heartworm test is what's called a 4DX. It includes three of the most common tick diseases we see as well. And we see those, unfortunately, much more frequently even than heartworm disease.
So the diagnostic tools that you have available to you have become more sophisticated as we see this increase.
Yeah, absolutely. We are much more able to look for those things.
Dr. Rager, if folks, now your clinic is out in Shawnee, Lenexa area. If folks are interested in coming to visit you with their dog or their cat, how do they get a hold of you folks?
Well, there's several ways to get a hold of us. PerimeterVeterinaryCenter.com is our website. And so you can just go to our website and click request an appointment. We have a Facebook page. You can reach us by email, and you can call the clinic Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. or 8 to noon on Saturday at 742-8387.
The email address, is info@perimeterveterinarycenter.com. So they can certainly email that anytime as well.
You can join the conversation with us here. Give us a call at 576-7710. And between the three of us, there will be two that'll know something about dogs and cats so they can give you information. But we're going to take a little bit of a break. When we get back, I'm going to continue my conversation with Doctors Regier and Farrell from Perimeter Veterinary Center. You're listening to The Home Show on KCMO Talk Radio 710 and 103.7 FM.
KCMO, Kansas City's home of Mike Huckabee.
Or we can't dig a ditch around our house when a fire is raging upon it because it might upset a rodent who lives there. Now, that's just crazy.
Mike Huckabee.
And forgive me for thinking so, but I just think that people matter more than a rat or a bug.
Huckabee, weekdays 11 till 2 on KCMO Talk Radio 710 and 103.7 FM.
Appliance problem?
Call your serviceman from AB May.
Load, save, repeat. Load after load, the new Cat K-Series wheel loaders from Foley Equipment set a new standard for productivity, fuel efficiency, and comfort. No surprises there. What you might find surprising is that the owning and operating costs are lower than the chief competitors. Get the full story at FoleyEQ.com/K. That's FoleyEQ.com/K.
Hey, it's me, Mike Rowe, here with Fiona Doran, a service advisor to Ford dealership. I've got about 60 seconds today to convince you that Ford is actually in the tire business. I'll be asking the questions. Fiona, she'll be answering them. How are you, Fiona?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Are you ready?
I am.
If I need new tires for my Ford, where should I go?
Your Ford dealership.
And who carries 11 major brands?
Your Ford dealership.
And who's having a big tire event?
Your Ford dealership.
You're basically going to say your Ford dealership no matter what I say, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Nice shoes. Where'd you get those?
Your Ford dealership.
Come see the vehicle experts and get a $70 mail-in rebate when you buy 4 select tires. Plus another $70 when you use the Ford Service credit card. That's up to $140.
What's the capital of Wisconsin?
Your Ford dealership.
That's technically not true.
Subject to credit approval. Rebate by check. Other tire manufacturer rebate or offer cannot be combined, or Ford Service credit card rebate or offer. See your participating Ford dealer for details through 12/31/13.
My mother is an active lady and loves helping others. We found Mom could use a little help taking her medications correctly. At Covenant Place of Lenexa, Mom has a community of active friends, and we have peace of mind knowing she has everything she needs. Covenant Place of Lenexa is a new faith-based community offering residential independent living, assisted living, rehabilitation, and healthcare with no buy-in fee. Visit them just north of 87th and Flum or online at covenantplacelenexa.org.
Attention Missouri and Kansas residents. You may have an intruder in your home. This intruder is not going after your belongings or family heirlooms. It's going after your life and the lives of your loved ones. This intruder is very dangerous. This intruder is radon. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer and accounts for over 21,000 deaths annually in the U.S. alone. Radon has also been linked to various cancers in children. Homes in Kansas and Missouri are testing at some of the highest levels in the country. Is your home at risk? Are your loved ones at risk? Certified Radon wants to give you the peace of mind of knowing where your home stands. Call us now for a complete home analysis for less than the cost of a family night out. Get the peace of mind your family deserves. Call Certified Radon today. 816-587-3500. 816-587-3500 or log on to CertifiedRadonKC.com.
If you own or operate a small to medium-sized business in the Kansas City area and are interested in increasing sales, you'll want to listen closely to this message. Cumulus Media is sponsoring a very special event titled The Branding Workshop. This free event is specifically designed to help local businesses understand how to brand your business and how to become known before you're needed, the number one goal of advertising. On Wednesday, December 18th, Cumulus will be holding this free special event. The workshop will share what big companies do to build their brand image and how you can do the same to build your company image by developing a branding strategy. The workshop will also include ways that you can either start or improve your social media and increase traffic to your website. Plus, you'll have a chance to win a $500 fuel card. That's right, a chance to win a $500 gas card, plus learn how to grow your business and develop a solid plan for sales growth, and the workshop is absolutely free. Take an hour out of your business to work on your business. The workshop is being held at Cumulus Radio Studios at 5800 Foxbridge Drive in Mission, Kansas. To reserve your seat, call 913-514-3186. Once again, 913-514-3186. The branding workshop is free for local Kansas City businesses, but hurry, seating is limited.
Kansas City, now you're talking. KCMO Talk Radio 710 and 103.7 FM.
Welcome back to the home show. Yes, we've gone to the dogs. My guests today, Doctors Tabitha Regier and Andrea Farrell from Perimeter Veterinary Center. And that's not their dogs singing. And you can talk to us about dogs and cats, and they'll answer the questions right here. 576-7710. 576-7710. I want to say thank you to my producer today, Jared Carter. He's our Monday through Friday morning show producer. So for him to come in on a weekend is a real blessing. It's a blessing to me, and it's a blessing to all of you, because when I'm behind the board, it's sometimes a mess, but he makes it all work. Hey, let's go talk to Jim. He has a question. Jim, welcome to the home show. You wanted to say something to the veterinarians?
Yeah, I've got a miniature Sheltie, and he's just a beautiful dog. He's a tricolor with a marble eye, but the problem I got with him, and he's a young dog, 2-3 years old, but in the heat, he will drop and have a seizure. And I've clipped his hair in order to help cool him down, and sometimes in the wintertime he'll get overheated, it seems like, and he'll drop and have a little seizure.
Oh,
I didn't know if this was something that was hereditary in the breed, being this a miniature, or what.
Well, I think that probably what you're dealing with is not overheating. Seizures happen to lots of dogs of lots of different breeds. And what we usually do with seizures is make sure that we're dealing with a seizure and not a heart health related issue. There's a heart disease related issue called syncope, and it's more passing out. But if we've got tremoring and trembling, that does indicate seizures. And seizures in and of themselves aren't dangerous as long as they don't go on for too long. But what we do want to know about is the cause of the seizure. Epilepsy is a diagnosis that we kind of fall into. We look for any other causes of seizures, like a liver disorder or a kidney disorder, so something that we call metabolic. And with a young dog, we're really not worried about tumors of the brain or spinal column area too much. So we really want to rule out metabolic issues and then fall into a diagnosis of epilepsy. And then working with your veterinarian, you can determine whether or not they happen often enough that we need to medicate or monitor. Dogs that have seizures that are prolonged, so go on 7 to 10 minutes or more at a time, or have seizures in clusters, so several in a day, or they increase in frequency where they're a year apart, then 6 months apart, and then they're happening multiple times a month. Those are the dogs that we talk about medicating. And there are lots of great options for medications. And even if it's a complicated case, we can even send you to see the neurologist. But most straightforward cases of epilepsy don't need that. Again, I'm not saying your dog has epilepsy, but that would be what we'd want to rule out. So the thing to do would be to visit your veterinarian, have blood work sent to the laboratory to evaluate organ function. Like I said, kidney function, liver function, and look for any evidence of some strange viral infection. And if all those things are normal and nothing else indicates that there's a problem on exam, then we might be dealing with epilepsy. So it's something that you need to talk to your veterinarian about, visit the vet twice a year at minimum for a physical exam for your dog, and then discuss whether or not medications are needed at this point.
Would it be any of? Thank you for that question, Jim. That was that's important. I had a little dog, a little terrier, little Sam, who had very, very occasional seizures, and after visiting with my veterinarian in California, we decided that there was just that was just something that Sam was going to live with. And indeed he did, and it didn't impair his function at all. He was loud and obnoxious his entire life. And there was a thought right on top of my head. You can join the veterinarians and talk about your dog or your cat right here on the Home Show on KCMO Talk Radio. Give us a call, 576-7710, 576-7710. BJ, you had a question for the vets. Go right ahead.
Well, thank you. I ended up with a pit bull at my house thanks to my 19-year-old son who's in the military, so he's away a lot, and with a great dog. She's a great dog, but I'm just curious on the cold weather because I'm not familiar with the breed a whole lot, but obviously she's got real short hair, and she normally sleeps in the garage, which is not heated, but it normally stays above freezing. Even when it's been this cold, it's, 35 degrees in there. And she's got a bed and stuff. I was just curious of, how, because it's a big dog, and I wasn't sure how she does in the cold weather. Do I need to be looking out for anything, or is she all right out in this kind of weather, or what's the recommendation?
Well, that's a great question because we are dealing with some pretty brutal temperatures right now, and pit bulls have really great musculature, and so they do sort of have some capabilities to stay warm that a leaner dog like a greyhound wouldn't. But they do have really short hair, and so you're doing the right thing where she has somewhere to go, especially at night. But right now, even during the day, she needs to be either have access to the garage or somewhere similar where she can be completely sheltered from the weather. Right. And you need to, I would actually recommend, like we were talking about earlier, a coat or a sweater or something along those lines for her. Did you say it was a girl?
Yes, it is. It is a girl. Yeah.
So I just didn't want her to call her the wrong thing. No. But so you do want to get her a coat or something like that when she's out there and it's this cold, unless she's able to come into the house. And then you also really do want to have some nice cushy bedding that she can curl up into. And you do want to make sure her water is not going to freeze. And so you want to make sure you're checking on that really frequently.
Well, and we are. And her bedding, she's just over a year old now, so she's still chews. I bought her multiple beds, and she has this tendency to want to chew all the stuffing out of the bed, and so I don't know what to do about that. I've gone through about 3 or 4 beds with her, and I'm, she just, I don't know if it's a nervous habit or what, but she just wants to tear all the stuffing out of it. So,
well, a couple of other things we could do there is you could purchase, I've gotten them at Home Depot before, go in and ask for their carpet scraps. And you can get some leftover carpet chunks that are really cheap, and then that is something she'd be less likely to chew on, but would still provide some protection from the cold garage floor. And then the other thing we would want to do is kind of distract her from the bedding, which she has identified as a fun toy. And you can do that with chews that she likes, as long as you check with your veterinarian to make sure it's something digestible. But you can also use non-destructible toys like a Kong toy that you can either stuff some peanut butter in and freeze, or you can put their food in it and a little glop of peanut butter on top, so it takes a long time for them to work all that treat out. And there's some different treat feeders or food feeders that they have to sort of work a puzzle to get their food out. And that can be distracting and last a while, so that might kind of help keep her from going at the bed first thing as well.
BJ, thank you so very much for that, and please pass on to your son our thanks for his service to our country. We're going to come back in after the half hour. We've got to do some news. We've got to do some spots. I've got Charles and Matt on the phone. I would ask you if you would kindly hang on. When we get back from the break, we will have the veterinarian address your dog or cat question. And I want to touch on foods. This is a time of year when pets are liable to grab anything. We know that. My dog will eat anything that hits the floor. Thank goodness she's not tall enough to browse off the countertops. But I particularly want to talk about the dangers of the foods that they can encounter at this time of year. You're listening to The Home Show, and it is KCMO Talk Radio 710 and 103.7 FM.
The KCMO Morning Show with Greg Knapp.
Coming up Monday on the show, Washington, Colorado, maybe Illinois, will see a sharp increase in the sales of man's ears. I'll explain why. Meanwhile, you really loved Grandma, and now she's passed on. Well, you can remember her by turning her ashes into your next diamond ring. I got the details. KCMO Morning Show.
Weekday mornings from 5 till 9 on KCMO Talk Radio 710. And now 103.7 FM.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Back on American soil, the Korean War vet detained by North Korea for 6 weeks.
It's been a great homecoming, and I'm tired, but ready to be with my family.
Merrill Newman speaking at San Francisco Airport. He was detained in late October, some 6 decades after he oversaw a group of South Korean wartime guerrillas during the war.
He looked tired. He looked somewhat strained, and he said he was very much tired, but he appeared to be in very good health. And he was very quickly swept away by his family, probably returning to their Palo Alto home here in California.
Fox's Dominic DiNatale at Pearl Harbor. Commemorations marking the bombing 72 years ago. The crowd observing a moment of silence at 7:55 a.m. local time. Fox News. We report, you decide.
The KCMO forecast from KCTV5.
The coldest air of the season has arrived today, and temperatures will only slightly improve as we head throughout the afternoon hours. 18 degrees will be our high, mostly sunny skies and northeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, this evening, and overnight, clouds will increase. Temperatures overnight will fall to about 13 degrees, with snow becoming likely after midnight. I'm KCTV5 meteorologist Haley Schulman.
This is the Wall Street Journal Report. I'm Bruce Vail. The expanding use of genetic testing is having an unforeseen consequence. More people are being told they have genes for potentially fatal diseases but don't show any symptoms. Experts call these people patients in waiting. They and their doctors wonder if and when a disease like cystic fibrosis will develop. Coming down with a simple cough or fever may prompt some people to fear it's an early sign of a disorder. Another dilemma, doctors are sharply divided about whether to begin treatment in hopes of preventing the disease's onset. People are increasingly learning if they run a higher than normal risk for genetic conditions. If an abnormality is found from a simple blood test, health officials often resort to genetic testing to double-check the results. Older children and adults might be referred for genetic testing when doctors suspect certain conditions, only to discover they're at risk for a different, unexpected disease. This is the Wall Street Journal Report.
Hey, Bob, how's business? Is the new website helping?
Not good. I can't figure out how to get the website finished. How did you do it?
Easy. I called Web.com. They built my website for free.
Wow, free? Really? Web.com?
Yep, and in just 7 days. Then they promoted it on all the search engines.
Like Google, Yahoo, and Bing?
Exactly. And Web.com has helped grow my business so much, I had to bring on new staff.
Hey, if Web.com did it for you, they're perfect for me.
Web.com can build your website for free in as little as 7 days. If after 30 days you're happy with your new website, we'll continue to provide promotion, hosting, support, and maintenance, all for just one low monthly fee. If not, cancel and pay nothing. Call now. 855-747-SITE. 855-747-SITE. 855-747-7483. Or go to web.com/radio. There is no upfront charge for building the website, after which the ongoing fee applies. Rights to the website are relinquished upon cancellation unless otherwise purchased.
Hi, folks. This is Dixie Williford from APW Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, and you hear me every Saturday on APW Help for Homes from noon to 1 p.m. right here on KCMO Talk Radio 710 AM and 103.7 FM. The popular question is, when is the right time to check my furnace? And that time is now. Don't be left out in the cold, especially with the holidays around the corner. That's why APW is offering a furnace safety inspection at $49 for your peace of mind. Call 913-825-6600, 913-825-6600.
Hi, I'm Steve Keeker, host of Senior Care Live every Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. I'm also president of Senior Care Consulting. We help families find the best assisted living facility, nursing home, or Alzheimer's dementia care for their elderly loved ones. And we can help you understand your options and make the best choice possible. To schedule a free consultation, call today, 913-749-7899. That's 913-749-7899, or visit seniorcareconsulting.com.
KCMO, Kansas City's talk station and the most powerful name in news. Fox News 24/7. KCMO Talk Radio 710 and now 103.7 FM.
Welcome back to the Home Show on KCMO Talk Radio. I'm Tom Bamfort. My guests, Doctors Tabitha Regier and Andrea Farrell from Perimeter Veterinary Center, which is why the music is playing. And we're taking your dog and cat questions. Now, I will confess right here that Dr. Regier has had to leave. She has responsibilities. She has a daughter that's dancing in a recital today, and she claims her daughter is not going to be a snowflake. I say that when you're 5 years old, that's all you're really capable of being. I just wanted to remind all of you out there that my friends at Jericho Home Improvements have an offer with free appliances if you remodel your whole kitchen, or a heated floor if you do a complete bathroom remodel. What could be nicer on a day like today to get out of the shower and to step on a heated floor? You would love it. Go to JerichoHome.com, JerichoHome.com, and click the button to get a free consultation, or give them a call, 913-596-0000. And when you talk to them, tell them you heard about it on the Home Show from Tom and from Dr. Farrell. Let's go to the phones. We have Charles, who's been patiently waiting for us. Charles, the veterinarian is here at your disposal. What can we do for you?
Yeah, I have a 9-year-old Sheltie, and smartest dog I've ever seen in my life, and has been my buddy for years. And he's got cataracts now, where his eyes get real cloudy. And I have two questions: I've seen drops on the internet you can put in there, because I had a vet tell me it's like $2,500 to $3,000 an eye to get it fixed. And I have that question, and the other question is, he gets these little lumps on him, little, and they move with the skin. And twice he's had them on there where I've tied like a piece of fishing line on them, and they've dropped off. And I know I probably should have went to a vet, but they wanted like $400 to cut it off, and I'm just like, anyway. And now he's starting to get another one, and his eyes are failing.
Okay.
You know?
So
I don't even know how long he would even live. He was a runt when we got him. But, we got him as a baby, but he was like the smallest one of the bunch.
Yeah. Well, I'll start with your first question on the eyes. There are a couple of things that can make a dog's eyes look cloudy, and one of them is called nuclear sclerosis or lenticular sclerosis, and it looks like a cataract when you look at the eye, but it does not impair vision in the same way. So you do want to, if you haven't already, have a veterinarian look at the eyes and tell you which of the issues is going on. And if you do have cataracts, or if she does have cataracts, the only true correction is to do the surgery. Now, I will tell you, I have several patients who have not done the surgery, and their dogs really adjust well as long as they're not moving furniture around and things like that. The dogs really adjust well. And in fact, I have a couple of blind patients that when they come to the clinic, they're so familiar with it, you can't even tell they're blind there. So dogs can really adjust quite well to that. But first, you do want to determine if you're dealing with cataracts or another issue. Also, there are some metabolic causes of cataracts like diabetes, and so you would want to have a potential blood work panel done as well to see if there's an underlying cause you need to treat. I have not found a topical drop that has stopped the development of cataracts when that's occurring. And we don't use them too much in veterinary medicine. And I suspect that if there were one out there, we would all have it on board. And so I think what you're probably seeing on the internet isn't going to be very effective for you. And so I think you would want to follow up with a veterinarian and potentially consider the surgery if your dog is really truly having trouble adjusting to vision loss.
Gotcha.
Now, I was going to say on the second question with the lumps, there are lots of benign lumps and bumps that dogs can get as they age. However, there are certain types of tumors that feel exactly the same as fatty tumors on dogs. And so it's important to have each one checked. And I know as they get older and are starting to develop lots of bumps, that can seem tedious and like you're doing that all the time. But it is important to do because once you know it's benign, you really don't have to worry about it. And you don't have to have it removed unless it's bothering your dog or you for some reason. However, if it's something cancerous, you want to have it removed while it's small and much more easy to remove. So I would recommend having each one of those checked by your veterinarian, and they need to put a needle in it and get a couple of cells out, get a little clump of cells out and look at it under the microscope to tell you if it's benign or something more serious.
Charles, thank you so very much for that. You're listening to The Home Show on KCMO Talk Radio 710 and 103.7 FM. I'm Tom Bamford. My guest, Dr. Andrea Farrell from Perimeter Veterinary Center. You can join our conversation about dogs and cats, about caring for and how a dog or a cat fills our life with joy, fills our life with a companion who doesn't complain when we don't look our best, and who's always happy to see us. It's an opportunity for all of us to realize that there are creatures on Earth that think we're pretty special just the way we are, every day we are. Let's go to the phones one more time, and you can join us if you'd like, 576-7710. Maryland, you have a question about your small dog for Dr. Farrell. Go right ahead, please.
Yes, it's kind of a silly question.
I doubt that.
She goes outside. If it's wet or if it's cold or snowy, she will kind of go on her front paws and hop around on her back ones every once in a while, but she doesn't like to put her back paws down.
Okay.
Do you know of any kind of little boots or shoes or something that would protect her?
I do.
That will stay on?
Yeah, I do. Now, I can't tell you a brand name off the top of my head, unfortunately, but we do have some clients at Perimeter that use boots for their dogs. And so you can go to stores. Large stores will frequently have little boots, but you can also get online and see a huge variety of little booties for your dogs and probably see many more there to choose from and get one that's appropriately sized for your dog. And it is not uncommon for dogs in the winter to have their little paws get cold when they're out there in the snow and wet. And I will tell you that my dog's about 12 pounds, and she is not going to tunnel her way through the snow. So I get out there with the snow shovel, and I do clear her a little area in the grass. And that helps a lot, too, because that grass is not quite so cold as the snow, and it'll help it dry more quickly once the sun comes out, so it's not quite so frigid when she steps on it.
Thank you, Marilyn. I sincerely appreciate that. We're going to continue with our phone calls here. You can join us, 576-7710. Any dog or cat question that you've got, I believe Dr. Farrell will be able to answer for you. Matt, welcome to the Home Show. What's your question?
This is Matt. I have a 6-month-old expensive mutt. It's a golden doodle. Who seems to be in perfect health. I feed him blue buffalo puppy kibble. Okay, every once in a while when he's eating, he'll get about halfway through his morning food, and suddenly he'll lay down on the floor, and he'll start crawling around as if he's being dominated. So I assume he's in pain. I feel his stomach, and it doesn't seem to be sensitive, but he'll do that for a minute or so, just lay there and look at me. And then he'll get up and be okay the rest of the day. Next day he'll do it again. And then he'll go away for a week or two and he'll do it again. And I don't have any idea what's going on.
When he eats, does he eat pretty quickly and swallow kibble, or does he eat slow and chew each kibble up?
He eats quickly. He's chewing some, but he's swallowing most.
Okay. So he may just be eating so quickly that he is having either a bolus of food in his esophagus that's uncomfortable, kind of like when you do that quote, swallow something down the wrong pipe, unquote.
Okay.
So he may be feeling that, or he may be getting too much in his stomach at one time and getting some gas in there that's uncomfortable. So a lot of times what we do is recommend putting a ball or a toy in their food bowl that they have to work around, which slows them down a little bit. Or you can get a feeding toy that dispenses the food slowly as they twist it and turn it around and move it around the room. And that will slow him down as well. And I use one of those for my dogs. It looks like a little flying saucer, and I put the meal in it and I close it up, and there's holes on the side. So she has to move it around to make the food fall out of it. And it's great exercise anyway, and it's great for their mental activity, but it also keeps her from eating so quickly that she either throws up or has one of those kind of gas bubbles build up.
All right, that sounds like a really good idea. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Thank you, Matt. I will confess I've been blessed with my last two dogs. Both of them, Sam, my old black and white terrier, and Rosie, my black and white Havanese Papillon mix. They both ate like cats. We just leave a bowl of dry food down for Rosie, and she is such a picky eater. She won't actually sidle up to the bowl. She kind of reaches her neck over and takes a little bite in her mouth, and then backs up and chews it. And then we'll return. It's just
to make sure she likes each bite first.
Yes, she savors every bite of food. Thank goodness. And I used to worry that she was not eating enough. In fact, but
her body condition has always been good when she comes in. So.
She's always been a healthy thing, and she's never. Every night we do the run around the room thing. It's great fun. It is just hysterical to watch. We're going to take one more break here. And when we come back, I've got more questions. Maybe you've got more questions for Dr. Andrea Farrell from Perimeter Veterinary Center. You can go to perimeterveterinarycenter.com. perimeterveterinarycenter.com. You can see all of the great services that the doctors Regier and Farrell have to offer you. And I would heartily recommend, if you live in Lenexa, you live in Shawnee, you might want to consider using Perimeter Veterinary Center. We're going to be back after the break. It is the Home Show on KCMO Talk Radio 710 and 103.7 FM.
KCMO Talk Radio is Michael Savage.
LSD generation who is now running the world. They run England, they run America, they run Hollywood, they run Wall Street. There's no honor, there's no dignity, there's nothing to look up to. You don't have any freedom in this country. You're living in a prison. You're living in a prison, and it was created by the left wing. The left wing has created a concentration camp in this country.
Weekdays 8 to 11 on KCMO Talk Radio 710 and 103.7 FM.
44 years in business and a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. Hi, this is Keith Blay, and that is our record at Mr. Remodeler. The secret? Don't leave unhappy customers. How do we do that? Well, we try to make the remodeling process as painless as we can. On the first visit, for your peace of mind, we provide workman's compensation and liability insurance, our written warranty, and references. To ensure you get what you paid for, we provide detailed estimates, contracts, and drawings. So projects start smoothly and don't drag on. They're scheduled and organized ahead of time. Our carpenters are prompt, and problems are dealt with quickly until the job is done. Which brings me to the most important part, and that's the team at Mr. Remodeler. Yes, they're knowledgeable and experienced professionals like you would expect, but they are also the kind of people you will enjoy having in your home. Make your life a little easier by calling Mr. Remodeler for your next remodeling project. Missouri 453-3049, Kansas 362-7166, or online at MrRemodeler.com. Thanks.
Hey, it's me, Mike Rowe, here with Fiona Doran, a service advisor to Ford dealership. I've got about 60 seconds today to convince you that Ford is actually in the tire business. I'll be asking the questions. Fiona, she'll be answering them. How are you, Fiona?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Are you ready?
I am.
If I need new tires for my Ford, where should I go?
Your Ford dealership.
And who carries 11 major brands?
Your Ford dealership.
And who's having a big tire event?
Your Ford dealership.
You're basically going to say your Ford dealership no matter what I say, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Nice shoes. Where'd you get those?
Your Ford dealership.
Come see the vehicle experts and get a $70 mail-in rebate when you buy 4 select tires, plus another $70 when you use the Ford Service credit card. That's up to $140.
What's the capital of Wisconsin?
Your Ford dealership.
That's technically not true.
Subject to credit approval. Rebate by check. Other tire manufacturer rebate or offer cannot be combined, or Ford Service credit card rebate or offer. See your participating Ford dealer for details through 12/31/13.
If you or anyone on your holiday gift list suffers from foot pain, the perfect gift is Finn Comfort shoes. Foot pain can affect not only your feet, but your entire body, and Comfort Plus Shoes offers Finn Comfort. Recommended by leading foot health professionals worldwide, meticulously handcrafted in Germany, Finn Comfort is the answer. We offer gift certificates, so anyone on your list can experience the Comfort Plus difference.
Fancy footwork, Comfort Plus Shoes.
Comfort Plus Shoes in Leawood. Visit us at 117th and Row.
Attention all veterans and firearm enthusiasts. Firearm Engraving LLC is your local company for any firearm engraving needs. Firearm Engraving LLC will engrave SBR and SBS markings, as well as any kind of military logo, crest, or text. Great for military commemoration, retirements, a Christmas present, or creating family heirlooms. Mention you heard this on the radio and receive 10% off your engraving services. Firearm Engraving starts as low as $35 and will be completed within days. For more information, visit their website at firearmengraving.com.
This is Frank Curtis from Shawnee Heartland Assisted Living. Shawnee Heartland has set records by receiving 5 straight deficiency-free state surveys, and we have outstanding food and activities. People regularly comment on what a warm and home-like community Shawnee Heartland is. A resident recently told me she'd love to have her family come and visit her at her home at Shawnee Heartland. Come home to the Heartland. ShawneeHeartlandAL.com. We're not a giant corporation. We're family.
Dave Ramsey here for the only heating and cooling company I recommend, Lee's Summit Heating and Cooling. Listen, with the cooler weather coming, now would be a good time to have your furnace checked. And if you're in the market for a new furnace or air conditioner, Lee's Summit Heating and Cooling is offering instant rebates and incentives for a limited time. So call Lee's Summit Heating and Cooling at 816-525-7218. 816-525-7218 for a free estimate.
The KCMO Morning Show and Greg Knapp.
So many times I'm so glad I'm not a woman. I'm sure if I was a woman, though, I'd probably like it.
Mornings 5 till 9 on KCMO Talk Radio 710 and 103.7 FM.
Welcome back to the Home Show. Sing along, everybody. And that music means that we have the veterinarian in the house, Dr. Andrea Farrell from Perimeter Veterinary Center. You can pose your question to the vet. Give us a call, 576-7710, 576-7710, or shoot me an email, homeshow@kcmotalkradio.com. We have another caller on the line. Enrique, you had a question for the veterinarian. Go right ahead.
Hi, Doctor. My wife and I just got this half Pomeranian, half Yorkie dog, and somehow we're just both in love with it. And I got to thinking that, how long the dog is going to last and be with me, and it really started hurting me because, he's such a good dog. We love him, and I'm starting to think of, what can I do to prolong his life health-wise with food, with, maybe Dinovite? Is that all that it claims to be? I'm trying to be preemptive with his health as opposed to waiting for something big to happen to start taking him to the vet and, have somebody tell me, hey, it's going to be $2,500 to fix that or this. So just want to hear your thoughts on that.
That's a great question. We always prefer to prevent something rather than treat it later on. And the basis for all of our health needs is nutrition. So I'm really glad you brought that up. I will say, as far as the supplements and things like that go, you only need a supplement for your dog's food if you are not feeding them a well-balanced diet. So we would recommend talking with your veterinarian about what diet's most appropriate for your dog. And then you're not going to need to add multiple vitamins and, other things to the food. It's kind of a great question. Dr. Regier and I recently sat in on a nutritional seminar, and we learned a lot about the different diets that are out there. and how few of them are truly balanced as far as their mineral and vitamin content and the fatty acids. We see some decent balancing between proteins and carbohydrates and things like that, but it's very important to make sure that the vitamins and minerals are also correct, and there's a lot of imbalances in those. So you definitely want to talk to your veterinarian about that. I also hear a lot these days about these high protein foods that are out there, and unfortunately our pets don't need really high protein foods because they are not out hunting for their dinner anymore. And so high protein can lead to problems down the road like kidney issues. And so the balance, it's all about the balance. And so you want to talk to your veterinarian about that. I will tell you that my favorite diet and the diet my dogs eat is Hill's Science Diet. And looking at some studies that are out right now, I think it's probably one of the most balanced diets on the market. And so I really like that. The other thing, Yorkies are quite prone to dental disease, and dental disease does not just affect the teeth. It affects all the other organ functions because the bacteria from our dental disease gets into the bloodstream. And so you can see infections elsewhere. And a lot of people put off dentals because they worry about anesthesia or they think it's only affecting the mouth, when in reality, it's one of the most common diseases we see. And it's so often we will do a dental on a dog with terrible teeth, and afterwards their owners say, oh my gosh, she's acting like a puppy again. And so with Yorkies, you definitely will want to have an exam every 6 months and have the veterinarian really check those teeth out and recommend the appropriate dental care at home and dental cleanings when needed.
And Enrique, let me throw this in as a non-veterinarian but a pet owner, a lifelong pet owner who has always had a veterinarian for my pets. The least expensive option I have, emotionally as well as financially, is to make sure that the vet sees my pet on a regular basis. I know the temptation is to look at things and to think in our heads that it's just so expensive. Veterinarians are very good about lining out the cost of things for you and giving you good options for treating your pets, just like Doctors Regier and Farrell do at Perimeter Veterinary Center. Brock, you're on the home show, and you're talking to veterinarian Dr. Andrea Farrell. Go right ahead.
Yes, hello, doctor. I wanted to ask you, let's see, if you had a strong opinion either way on the best way to feed my 2-year-old Australian Shepherd by the name of Gertrude Louise.
Oh, I love that.
Right, actually, for her whole life, I've actually been feeding her a cup of dry food once in the morning and once in the evening, but I have a lot of friends that let their dogs just go over and eat whenever they want. You know, they just have a big bowl there night and day, and I didn't know if you had a strong opinion on the best way to do it. I
do have a strong opinion on that, so I'm glad you asked. We were actually just talking earlier. Tom's lucky enough that his little dog, Rosie, really self-regulates her feeding amount, so he's very lucky in that. But most veterinarians are going to tell you we don't like to let dogs free feed. I know that my dog would eat and eat and eat until her little belly exploded. And so we want to be able to regulate the amount they eat for several reasons. We want to feed them just like we would eat several small meals through the day, because it's going to help stabilize the glucose levels in the blood, their glycemic index, just like you hear about in people, and it's going to help maintain their metabolism at a more steady rate. The other thing is down the line, if your dog should require a special diet and needs to be taking in a certain amount every day, you're going to have a much easier time regulating that. Or as your dog ages, if her metabolism does slow down, you're going to be much more ready to limit her amount as needed. And she's not going to have to do so much adjustment from going to eating whenever she wants to eating 2 meals a day or however many meals you do. And I would not do a once-a-day feeding. We always recommend at least twice-a-day feeding. But I strongly feel like you should feed your dogs meals, measured out meals based on your veterinarian's plans, as opposed to letting them eat freely.
Brock, thank you so much for that question. And I'm going to apologize to our caller, Andrea. We are not going to be able to get to you today. We are just flat out of time. Dr. Andrea Farrell has been our guest here. The Perimeter Veterinary Center. Go to perimeterveterinarycenter.com. Find out all about their practice, Drs. Regier and Drs. Farrell. Dr. Farrell, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us, Tom.
And one more reminder, folks. There's a proof that we're loved by God. It's in the smiles of our grandchildren. Have you been dreaming of a beautiful new kitchen or bathroom for your home? I'm Tom Bamfort, host of The Home Show on KCMO Talk Radio. Dream no more. It's a customer appreciation event from Jericho Home Improvement. 0% financing, free appliances with a complete kitchen remodel, free heated floor system with a complete bathroom remodel. Add value to your home while you save thousands on your project. It all starts with a free design consultation. Jericho's designers bring the showroom to you in your home. Jericho Kitchen and Bath employs craftsmen, not subcontractors, so it costs less when they do it right. JerichoHome.com. That's the website. JerichoHome.com. 0% financing, free appliances with a complete kitchen remodel, free heated floor system with a complete bathroom remodel. JerichoHome.com. Jericho Home Improvement. You'll come out better with Jericho and love what they do.